Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon. So last time the battle between Arcuade and Vlov started. So Arcuade showed some of her, I guess, abilities, right? She was wearing a dress in white that was pretty much heat resistant. But then Vlov showed his hidden ability. So basically it was the opposite of fire, right? It was ice, and then he had a very big lance there. So he won and Arcuade was defeated. So it's gonna be up to Shiki now to deal with him. So let us continue and let's see what happens today. The thing is a natural disaster in the guise of a human. We never should have gone after him. It was the height of arrogance to think we could defeat him. What was I thinking? That we could stop him from killing more people? That we could solve this without any more casualties? What a joke. We should have never confronted him. If he had just let the whole disaster blow over like a typhoon, at least he might have stopped at burning the city to the ground. But the thing is though, yeah, I mean, if you left him alone, sooner or later you would have fought him because yeah, he was burning the downtown area and no one is really coming. I mean, right now no one is coming except you guys, right? So sooner or later you would have fought anyways. They couldn't do anything. You chose to do nothing. They had nothing to fight back with. You have a weapon. Like, yeah, what are the cops gonna do, right? The people from the church, are they even here? Who knows, and no one knows. Pressure builds against my skull, thoughts turn to disarray as common sense wrestle with delusion. My consciousness turns to flee, I make no move to stop it. There's nothing I can do. No way I can fight him, but I've done enough, and any more is insane, but I should run while I can, just turn away like a normal person, but she'll die. I stare up at the sky, tall frozen buildings invade my view. The people inside must have died in an instant, no chance to even manage a scream. Unlike what happened at the hotel, the pleading screams of the people there still haunt me even now. I look over at the fallen woman. The corpses inch closer and closer to her, moaning and drooling. Even now, the river of ice continues to expand, all while the vampire watches over his dominion of death with absolute indifference. My head splits from the pain at this low temperature. My heart has to squeeze and contract with everything it's got to keep my blood flowing. Everything points to just one conclusion. Every trickle of fear that sinks to the pit of my stomach churns and turns, coagulating into a mass of fury. I may be defective, a laughingstock, stupid and naive, because despite of all that, I still can't bear to stand by and watch this happen. I remove my glasses. I cover my mouth with my left hand to stop what remains of my precious body heat from escaping through my breath. I've got maybe 3 minutes. That's all the time I'll have until the fire within me burns out. It's not that I lack motivation, that's just a realistic assessment of how long a human can survive down in that pit. I scold myself as I slide down the slope. This is crazy. I am crazy. This is all crazy. Run away if you want to live. No, it's the opposite. If I really want to live, I need to go on. Or go in, I mean. This monster cannot be allowed to exist. This monster cannot be allowed to roam free. If I run away, I'll die. If I run away, the entire city will perish. With me. So it's clear what I have to do now. If I want to live, I need to kill. If I'm going to survive, I need to charge. I have to kill him right here and right now as fast as I can. My patience for this creature has already run thin. It dares to kill, steal, and live on without remorse or repercussion. I cannot allow it to live, not as a human, and not as a fellow living creature. As long as this thing lives, it will be my prey. I will tear out its life force by the root. I run towards Arcuade. The zombies are about to press their teeth into her tender flesh. I remember the question she asked me earlier, can I actually bring myself to kill? Whether they're truly human or not, can I kill something that looks human? It doesn't matter now. My head simply aches. I've never gone without my glasses for this long. I've never been this objective in my thinking. In my frenzied state, I make quick note of where each dead line is on their bodies. Then I commit to my memory each of my undead targets. Hands off her, you eyesores. The dead shouldn't dare to prey on the living. Besides, she's my prey, mine alone. I cut through lines on 3 of the zombies like they were butter. Each neatly splits into 3 pieces and drops to the ground, dead. It was almost too easy. With their attention focused on Arcuade, they were completely defenseless. I make no attempt to touch her. I just call out to her as I kill the 4th. Roused by my voice, Arcuade opens her eyes in a daze. She pushes herself off the ground, but the toll on her is evident from her face and posture. She's come to. She's alive, though her wounds haven't healed. It looks like Arcuade won't be able to move anytime soon. She's the one who ought to be running away and not me. Unfortunately, I don't exactly have it in me to get her to safety. Knife in hand, I dash ahead, leaving Arcuade behind. I look over to Vlov, quickly calculating the distance between the 2 of us. About 40 meters, 6 seconds before I reach him. He still hasn't noticed me yet. Damn, look at how Sheik is just cutting through the zombies. I mean, they're slow, so that's more easier, right? 3 more seconds. I can't waste any more time observing him. I got to end this with one final blow. My body is already suffering from hypothermia. I've got 3 or more minutes until my mind and my body shut down entirely. But I have at most 1 minute before my body starts to falter and I can no longer move freely. That's plenty though. I can already see the lines that'll let me kill him where he stands. He finally reacts. He shifts his gaze towards me with all of this disinterest of a man about to wave off a bug. The gigantic lance he used to skewer Arcuade is gone too. Which makes sense. I'd be worried if it wasn't. I mean, he's gonna use it again, definitely. In Vlov's eyes, I'm nothing. I might as well be one of his useless, zombified minions. He sees me as no more than Arcuade's incompetent bodyguard. Why stain his spear when he could just easily crush this insignificant human under his boot? That gives us our chance. All I can do is catch him by surprise. He's already spotted me. So getting him from behind is no longer an option. But that doesn't mean a surprise attack is out of the question. He doesn't know about my eyes. He'd never fathomed that a mere human could possess the power to kill an immortal vampire with a single strike. 2 seconds. It's my only chance, my one shot to cross the boundary between life and death. Focus. All I need to do is dodge his first move. As long as I can do that, then my gamble will pay off and I'll be able to cut through his lines. One second before I reach him. Just as I'm about to get within a slashing distance, we both jump back from one another at the same time. We never even got within each other's reach. 2 factors brought us here. First, I made a misstep. The cold air concentrated around him prevents me from getting near. The closer I get, the duller my body and my mind becomes. At the speed I was going, I'd have lost consciousness as soon as I was within 2 meters of him. One more step and it would have been over for me. I've lost the element of surprise. It just isn't possible to sneak up on Vlov and kill him. But I can live with that. Failing the ambush was something I had accounted for. There's one problem though. A problem far more deadly. That bastard. My rage throbs behind temples, mixing with the headache from going without glasses for so long. I still can't believe it. He somehow managed to read me. He must have some kind of intuition. A primal instinct to survive that would put any wild animal to shame. He should have no reason to fear me, yet somehow he sensed that I have some method of killing him. In that perilous instant, he recognized me as a threat, leaping away without another moment's thought. I think it's a instinct, right? He felt something and then he just leaped away. Like, of course, you cannot know what Shiki has because it's technically in his eyes, right? And he doesn't know that. I guess he just felt it. I jumped back around 2 meters, but his retreat was on another level. He had to pull a full 30 meters back. I suppose 30 meters must be the minimum safe distance for a vampire. It's almost hilarious just how different a scale we operate on. He took the words right out of my mouth. My luck was, or has, quickly gone down the drain. He'll never let me close this gap between us again. I've recognized that I won't be able to take him down. Whereas he's figured out that I possessed a way to kill him. From here on out, it'll be... a long-distance massacre. The cold air condenses, forming icy objects in midair. They're sharp as spears and like bullets they fly, targeting my skull. Do I dodge or do I try to take them? Should I waste my weapon here or continue to conceal it? The decision is made on instinct. The headache wrings my brain like a wet towel. My eyes hone in on the instrument of death, like the focus being adjusted on a camera. If I cut the lines, these spears of ice, their inertia, the very bonds holding them together, will be killed right in front of me. Death takes aim at my temples. I align my knife with the projectiles. Humans were once feral beasts too. We're still host to the acute reflexes and instincts we had during that bygone time. As long as I'm free to move, my body as I wish, these icicles are no deadlier than a pea shooter. However, I've used up my only shot at surprise attack. His eyes tell me everything I need to know. He saw what I did just now. He doesn't have to understand how I did it, but I'll never get close enough, I'll never get close enough to do it to him. I've lost my only avenue to victory. Should I really have showed him my trump card so soon? No, I shouldn't have, but it's not like I had any other choice. I had to play my best hand in order to survive. I'll just have to find something that can make up for it. I limit myself to only the most necessary movements. Even if I can't get close to him, I should at least try to conserve my energy. There's only 2 more minutes left till I hit my limit. My fear is cast out by excitement. Caught in a battle for survival, my perspective on life and death gets turned upside down.
奇跡の類ではない。しかし常識ではない。俺の渇きを水のように通すとはどういう理屈だ。
There's a brief lull in the onslaught of icicles. He hones the wave of cold air into a singular point, creating a maelstrom of ice.
死がただ死ね。あまり俺の胸を躍らせるな。
The frozen javelins are launched in my direction as if I'm a trap thrower. I slice through each of his icy bullets. With Arcoade behind me, I've got no other choice but to cut down every projectile he throws our way. It takes about 1.5 seconds for his frozen spears to close the distance between us. As long as I'm able to move my body, I can continue fending off his assault. But in the meantime, I need to come up with a plan. Volov hasn't moved an inch. Why? There's no reason for him to hold back now that they recognize I'm a threat. Which leaves me with a hypothesis. He's frozen in place, not because he thinks he can finish me off from afar, but because he can't move when he's in that state. Arcoade has cornered him already, leaving him without blood to fuel him. This freezing aura that surrounds him is more like the final defense mechanism of a monster on the verge of death. It's a wild theory, but it's one that fits the present situation. Trapped and unable to move, Volov throws accursed icicles every which way in order to cling to life. In the end, it doesn't matter if he runs hot or cold. All creatures ultimately perish when in his proximity. If I were within 10 meters of him, I'd freeze to death in 2 seconds. I'm going to collapse in no time, so I'll meet my end like a lost traveler on a snowy mountain, doomed to drift off to sleep and then never wake up again. When a human's body's temperature exceeds 43 degrees or drops below 34, brain cells start to shut down. But I can't lose myself in the details. I have to look at the broader picture. I cannot let my thoughts distract me. My duty is to slice my knife through whatever comes my way the second I see it. I do have to revise some of my earlier assumptions though. Yes, the cold he emanates spreads out in all directions, but after a closer look, I'm not certain the density is uniform all the way around. The ground seems coldest, and that must mean there are temperature disparities in the air around him. If he has a weak point, that's where I'll find it. His blizzard may act as an all-encompassing barrier, but it doesn't make it impenetrable from every angle.
死の淵で主を守るか。勇ましいが限界だ。
Volov draws the lance he used against Arcoade from the shadows once more. As he does, a large tree of ice crystallizes in the air behind them, its branches extending in all directions. That's a massive snowflake. You see that? His attack interrupts my analysis. I focus again on intercepting his projectiles. There's no way I can kill all of the icicles this time. I'll have to take a hit. No, I can't let that happen. It's too soon to give up. I can't afford to take the slightest graze. Bleeding here would be death. The unforgiving cold would strip me of life before the minute was out. So I have no option but to kill. One way or another, I must. I reboot my consciousness and see the lines, only the lines. One by one, I take note of my prey, 26 in all. I devise my plan, a plot of where to move, where to slice and kill, and where to dodge. At the center of it all, I see it. That which far transcends all of the lines of death surrounding it. A perfect point from where the lines are born, the place where death converges. The wall of death closes in on me. But just now I saw it, a glimmer. Just as I'm going to die here, so too does the possibility exist of him dying. But I've already reached my limits. Shikitono is out of ways to ensure his survival. The icicles rip through the flesh of my left thigh and the right side of my abdomen. Precious heat is robbed from my extremities. My ligaments scream as each sudden stop chews away more muscle fibers. The cells within are instantly destroyed by the ultra-cold temperature. My fingers grow numb. I can barely move my limbs. This is it. The chance at victory slipping out of sight. Whether he finishes me off or not, I'll be dead within a minute. If Vlov or Arcuate or anyone else were watching me now, they'd think the same, I'm sure of it. But no one believes it more than me. So then why? It must be some primal animal instinct. Why is that you're smiling during all this? Wait, Arcuate got hit? An icicle strikes Arcuate in the face. I forgot to account for Arcuate's position behind me. It looks like it only managed to graze her, but she has one hand over her face, rubbing the spot where she was struck. What kind of person takes a hit like that to the face and comes out with barely a scratch? I mean, she's a vampire, right? I'm reminded once more of just what a monster Arcuate is. Like, she got hit by an icicle head on in the head. And it's like, ow, it's like nothing. She buries one hand into the ground and pulls out a massive slab of earth as easily as someone might dig through the sand with a shovel. Then, as if to rebuke Vlov for the pain he caused her, she flings a rock in his direction. But he demolishes it as easily with his lance. There's still not a scratch on him. It makes sense that he wouldn't be killed by a rudimentary weapons. And yet, after seeing Arcuate's counterattack, it's like the final piece of the puzzle has fallen into place. Finally, I got something I can work with. I can kill him with one blow, but to do that, I'll have to strike him before my body shuts down from the cold. How though? My legs won't carry me the distance they need. In a span of 2 seconds, I need something faster. To maximize the chances, I'd better approach him from an angle where the cold is thinnest, but I can't use my legs to do that. I got no other options as it rate. I'll die anyway. It's no longer a question of if I can do it, but how can I do it? Brace yourself. There's only one way to get close enough, and that's by... Okay, how about, let's say first... Okay... Let me choose pulling. Pulling? Pulling. It's our only option, and quite a brilliant one if I do say so myself. If he won't let us get close to him, we'll just have to bring him to us. It's not something I could pull off by myself, but as long as our Kuwait still has enough power, we can do this. I quickly run for our Kuwait. I hear the sharp noise of ice shattering behind me. It seems that the wind pressure she generates with her claws is accurate even at a longer distance.
どうしてこっちに来ちゃったのシキ？なんかすごく得意げな顔してるけど。
説明は後だ。いいからあれやってくれ。さっきグローブを捕まえたツタ。
We're too short on time. I shout at her while gesturing that I want her to capture him again.
この距離で？危ない危ない。
投げ縄の要領でなんとか。
はあ？もうよくわかんないけど捕まえればいいのね。
Arcade might not have understood fully, but perhaps she sensed a desperation in my voice. Yes.
さすがすごいなアルクエイド。
でもこれからどうするの？
I like that she's happy, even though the situation is still very dangerous. But yeah, they're having fun, I suppose.
もちろん全力で引っ張ってくれ。
全力ってこんな感じ？
I assume that if Arcade could throw rubble with such velocity, she should be able to reel in Vlov just as fast. I think this is wrong though. What's gonna happen is they're gonna pull Vlov and then he's gonna stab Arcade with his spear. I gotta feel it. Yeah, a lot faster they can run at any rate. The only question is how well Vlov will be able to resist the pull. There's no way he'd be willing to concede the distance between us. He's sure to resist Arcade's pull every step of the way. It's a tug of war between two vampires. The weaker one will be drawn to the other side. Then the black cloak figure standing 50 meters away vanishes, reappearing right in front of me faster than I could possibly react. There's no safe zone left. It wasn't that Vlov didn't want to approach us, he just didn't have the energy to do so. And here we've given him the tailwind he needed, yeah. I told you, man, he was gonna strike with a spear and it's over. That was the wrong choice. A massive object pierces through my chest. I cough up my final breath.
狩りの基本も知らないのか。縄をかけるのは獲物を仕留めた後だろう。
The hunter sounds gravely disappointed. What a disgrace. I didn't even get a chance to do anything. I just jumped on the first bird-brained scheme I managed to hatch. What a fitting end for an idiot no smarter than a stray mutt. We lost. We lost really bad. Come on. I mean, I kind of felt like it. Like when Arcade started pulling him. I was like, yeah, this seems like a bad idea. And then it was actually a bad idea. Ashiki died. Teach me, Miss Ciel.
OS 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 とO と S のボタンを打ち続けて早20時間。こんだけ打っておけば何らかのアプリも完成すんだろ。仕事明けのコーヒーはたまらん。雰囲気だけで仕事をこなしときさえする。さて、今朝のデッドエンドはほほう、敵との正面衝突ですか。メガネ君はあれかな、異世界転生でもしたいのかな。
異世界？
あの手でどうやって PC のキーボードを？ そうですね。
Yeah, she doesn't have fingers, right?
自分からダンプカーを引き寄せたようなものなので、不注意による事故と言えなくもありません。ですが、それも一緒にいる吸血鬼の悪影響かと。
Negative influence from that other vampire.
ほら、隣にあんなショベルカーみたいなユニットがあるなら使ってみたくなるのが人情と言えるので。どんな人情なんだよ。あとユニット言うな。ヒロインな、ヒロイン。似たようなものでしょう。実際できたわけですし。まったく、結果を考えずノリで言いなりになるとはあなたらしくない。ダメージを受けてめまいでも起こしてたんですか？にゃ、単に式に頼られて嬉しかっただけじゃにゃい。なるほど、馬に蹴られて死んでください。これは遠野くんに半分、アルクエイドに半分責任があったと見るべきですね。
Technically both their fault. Shiki thought of the plan, so it's the majority of it is his fault. And then Arcoid was so happy to be pulling Vlov, and then yeah, they didn't expect that to happen.
遊んでいる暇はありません。クライマックスは目前です。次はアルクエイドと最大限離れるような決着手段を選んでみましょう。同じ立場ならシエルもやってたと思うけどにゃ。嫌ですね。やりませんよ。そんな筋力ありませんから。
Okay, so let's choose this one now. Throwing for now. Throwing, or more accurately, turning me into a human cannonball. The vampire may be on guard now, but I still remain an all too deadly weapon to him. That just leaves a question of how I'll launch myself into his direction. A question with a simple answer: if my legs won't carry me there, I'll just need to depend on some outside help. We need Arcoade to toss us. Toss us, Arcoade. I quickly run for Arcoade. I hear the sharp noise of ice shattering behind me. It seems the claws of wind she generates can pinpoint targets even from this far.
もう、なんでこっちに来たの？標的が一つになっちゃうじゃない。
Yeah, so basically this is the same as we did. I think we're gonna die again. Grouping up together like this make us easy game for Vlov. I'm well aware of this fact.
分かってる。でもこれしかない。今、瓦礫をぶん投げただろ。それ、俺にもやってくれ。は
あ？
To be precise, I want her to throw me with that. That chunk of rock she threw earlier must have been nearly 3 meters across. If she could do the same with me on it, then that would be way faster and I could run.
言いたいことは大体分かったけど、それ途中で振り落とされない？
普通ならな。でも縛るものならいくらでも出せるだろ、お前。
そりゃ出せるけど。
Though Arcoade hesitates, this is our only option. I'll have her tie me to a piece of rubble big enough to hide behind and throw me towards Vlov. Yeah, I feel like Vlov is just gonna stab him again. Of course, he'll strike me down, he'll strike down whatever is thrown his way, which is why Arcoade will hurl 3 boulders. The first one will fly straight for Vlov. The next will deliberately miss Vlov and aim for his rear. And the last one will target Vlov once more. Naturally, I'll be hiding behind the second, the one that'll skirt around him. Then just before it hits the ground, I'll cut through the lines on its surface and appear behind Vlov in under 2 seconds flat. Is that gonna work?
それでいいの？タイミング逃したら衝突したよ。
逃したらな。うまくいけば無傷で殺せる唯一の手段だ。
The icicles only grow in number and ferocity. We don't have any more time to waste.
わかった。ブローブを狙いながら士気の乗った瓦礫だけ外すのね。
ああ、あいつの横を通り過ぎるくらいでいい。
I get behind Arcuade. There, I find a nice large piece of debris to hide behind. I press my hands and feet against a rock as if I were doing a push-up. Green ivy forms from Arcuade's fingertips, tying me down against a stone. The vines wrap around my thighs, and soon both my legs and my left hand are pinned to the stone. The only limb with a measure of freedom is my right hand, which is holding the knife. So basically, he cannot move.
ブローブまで50メートル。さっきのがあんな感じだったから。
Arcuade extends both hands, lifting both the regular rubble and the rock I'm hiding behind into thin air.
4秒我慢して。
The stones flying through the air must weigh at least a ton. 3 more seconds. As if stubbornly defying all laws of air resistance, the first piece soars directly for Vlov's head. Just before it can find its target, the rock is caught by Vlov's lance and splintered into pieces. But that's not to say it was completely ineffective. Some of the shattered fragments managed to hit Vlov's body. The damage they caused might not be significant, but it'll be enough to briefly draw his attention. Capitalizing on the moment, my rock sails past his right side. I dismantle the rock. It immediately becomes inert, ignoring all laws of momentum. My limbs are free to move now. They find purchase on land as I stick to the ground like a lizard does a wall. In that instant, both my body and my blood begin to freeze. I can sense his back now, or I can see his back. Just 4 meters, it'll be tight but not impossible. Vlov shatters Arcuade's third boulder. 1 second down, 1 meter to go. Just 2 more steps and I'll be within stabbing range of the lines that will end his life. But it's impossible for a human to take those final 2 steps. Damn, he got stabbed, not by the spear, but the icicles itself. I can't scream, nor can I feel any pain. I'm frozen from head to toe. Did he realize I was coming, or was it simply out of reflex? Countless thorns of ice spring up around Vlov to intercept my advance. He sounds disappointed. Safe, right? Safe. I was too concerned over finding a way to stay alive. Arcuade was worried about my safety, and because of that, she threw my rock just a little bit slower than the other 2. I'm such an idiot. I really messed up. You can even call it a surprise attack when it's so transparent. Luckily, I don't have to wait to bleed to death. Between Vlov's cowl of cold and my own bitter disappointment, my heart was already, or has already stopped beating. It is over. End again. Dead end. Is it gonna be the same though? Let's see if Neko Arc. Oh, Neko Arc is doing something different. Okay. So I thought she was gonna be using the laptop again, right?
いつかどこかでポチったんだけどにゃ。間違えて3つくらい同じの買ったんだけどにゃ。まあいいや。いらないものは全部バイ。にゃ捨てろ捨てろ。
Oh, she
ついでに主人公人形もパイ。ルフィ、決まってきた。待って待って、それを捨てるなんてとんでもない。え？あ、やべ。
Oh, it broke all the toys. Only the head remains.
まあ幸いぬいぐるみのようですので問題はないかと。 そうがにゃ、何やら運命を感じさせるシンクロニシティ。これはもしや主人公はかっこよく射出されて飛び散るという暗示なのでは？まさか、いくら遠野くんでもそんな無謀な作戦は立ててますね。大胆というか命知らずというか。なっちまえばいいんだよ、ミサイルに。その息は良かったんだけどにゃ。縦軸と横軸の問題をクリアできなかったのが敗因ですかな。ここの3択は全て無理めなプランですから、難易度自体はどれも大差ないかもですね。すぐに直前の選択肢に戻って、もう一度これはと思う手段をお選びください。グローブ戦もいよいよクライマックス。戦いは常に頭上を取るものですよ、遠野くん。
Okay, last one. Taking flight. This is definitely the right one. Taking flight, or I suppose it'd be more accurate to say falling down. So she's gonna toss us up now. But can I actually pull it off? The whole thing would be down to luck. I'm already aware that there's no way I'd come out of this venture unscathed. For one, the impact of the landing alone would break my bones and turn my muscles into pulp. Will you be able to bear such agony? I narrowly sliced through the projectiles as if I were cutting through my own hesitation. Those were a little too close for comfort, but I ought to thank him. The last shot has opened my eyes. I just need to take whatever pain that comes my way. I've never been particularly susceptible to sting or to the sting of death to begin with. From now on, I'll tune every last thought to the prospect of killing. I have no doubt that Vlov is already doing the same. I turn around and run towards Arcuade, so it's the same, running back to her. Though doing so depletes me of my last reserves of energy. I couldn't take one more step if I tried. My enemy is 50 meters away. But that's fine. Horizontal distance, it doesn't matter here.
Arcuade! さっきのあれ、もう一回できるか？
あれって何？
I quickly explained my plan to her. It's a short explanation. She views me with total bewilderment, but something about my expression must have convinced her.
その規模でやると私の余力もなくなるわ。それでもいいのね。もう逃げることもできないわよ。
I nod, indicating I've accepted the consequences. I don't even have the energy to talk, and I'm honestly shocked Arcuade was still considering the possibility of escape.
あれ？でもそれって式は途中で落っこちない？私そのあたり加減できないよ。
そりゃ落ちるに決まってるだろ。だから。
Even though I was supposed to catch my breath, I can't help but yell before getting to my plan. Which is when... There's no time to explain. Vlov has already sent another merciless storm of spears our way.
いいから全力で手を抜かずやってくれ。やりすぎてもいい。お前に殺されるならそれはそれで本望だ。
We don't have time to dance around the issue. I take my eyes off Arcuade and focus on our enemy. Behind me, Arcuade perks up in response to my order.
任せて。私が指揮を勝たせてあげる。
Why are you smiling all the time? This is so dangerous, Arcuade. Like Shiki might die. Again, well, he's bleeding already. Crouched down in front of Arcuade, there I press my knees and palms flat against the ground. Look at that. An unseen arm rubs or runs beneath the surface. Arcuade unearths another slab of rock just like before. No, it's on a whole different scale this time. The entire terrain crumbles and shakes as she loosens a massive swat from the ground. It's an explosion of soil, a veritable upheaval of the ground. The terrain splinters into countless pieces. If Vlov's cold is a blizzard, then Arcuade made a tsunami of earth. Even Vlov's deadly icicles are but droplets of splashing against a tidal wave. Soon the 50-meter high wall of earth will crash into him with the full force of 7,000 tons. Yet the knight doesn't flinch in the face of the looming calamity. He pierces through the wave of gravel with a thrust of his steel lance. Between the falling debris, he must have noticed that Arcuade, having used the last of her strength to pry apart the bedrock, was now on her knees, and yet that imminent threat was nowhere to be seen among the earth and sand. Staring down the towering wave, his instincts returned to him. To be precise, they had returned 2 minutes prior, when a lone human forced him into retreat that which he had thought was forever lost to the cold was rekindled and found himself regaining a semblance of his sanity. This human has means, or has the means, to kill me. I know not how, only that he does. A lingering instinct of a man once whole. The intuition of a warrior, honed and tempered during the Dark Ages, suddenly broke free of the curse plaguing his body. The deep-seated pride of a knight built up over a mere 2 decades had won over the madness of a millennium. He understands all too well that this is nothing short of a miracle. But such things are fleeting. This delusion of mind will end once he kills the human. It will regress to being a dream of the dead, never to see the light of day again. In a matter of moments, the human joy he finds in the thrill of the fight will be buried by a haze of frost. But that's why he intends to relish the development. He understands the enemy's intention. He'll mask his approach using the debris as a cover. He's seen the human's weapons. He knows it can cut through things. Surely the human will use his wall of dirt as a door, burst through it, and encroach his territory. He readies his lines. The wall of dirt towers before him. Under normal circumstances, he would shatter the wall and his concealed foe with it. There's no need for him to adapt the enemy's tactics. His preferred method of warfare has already been to offer no quarter and crush all resistance. He still has plenty of energy remaining. 10 people worth of the finest blood. Yet the vampire remains obstinate.
それはできない。この魂を消費することだけは決して。
It is his warmth. In order to burn, he will preserve this blood for all eternity. He does not mean to make light of a human. He has already realized that the foe he faces is an outlier. He's more than aware if the human gets too close, it will be the end of him. Yet there are things even he is unwilling to relinquish. Fully aware of his own heedlessness, he thrusts his lance forward using 50% of his remaining power. The giant wave of debris breaks apart immediately on impact. But that only takes care of the rocks to his front. The blow ensured his immediate safety and nothing more. He knows that it would do little to his foe. He knows the enemy will come for him, and no matter the cost, he will come.
だが
Unfortunately, there are limits to the human body. It has no way of passing through this rain of debris. Even with a true ancestor princess on his side, some things are impossible. When the earthen waves break and the downpour ends, so will the life of the human. As long as he can find the boy, an ambush is impossible. Vlav opens his eyes. They're equipped to peer leagues into the distance. But he finds nothing, not even a glimpse of a shadow creeping away. Could he have actually managed to kill him with a mighty blow? No, this foe would never die to something so simple. He chastises himself for thinking so highly of the enemy, yet a deathly cold chill runs down his spine. For a single second, he allowed his mind to drift from his foe. He knows that the enemy will come. Yet if he is nowhere to be found, then the knight's premise must have been faulty from the start.
Michiko.
Soshiki's jumping from stone to stone, I guess. The vampire looks up at the sky. There he finds his enemy illuminated under the moonlight. There he is. The knife in his mouth. The pale blue ghost lights of the mystic eyes of death and perception bear down on him. Arcoade's aim wasn't just to bury Vlav in debris. It was to lob this boulder into the air. The one I was strapped to, far out from the vampire's view and more importantly above the reach of his cold. 30 meters below me, the tidal wave of earth is demolished by Vlav. But yeah, I honestly like this though. Like how they're showing Shiki fighting like this. Like if it's another, let's say, game or like show. What's happening is the main character is, yeah, it's like more than human, like he can stick to rocks. But here you can see that for Shiki to stick to the rocks, basically Arcoade needed to tie him down there. Yeah, and not him just standing or holding it. What remains is just him, me, and the vast open air between us. I still my nerves as I revisualize the outcome. If I manage to do this, Shikitono will both lose his legs. Even if I survive, I'll never walk again. The certain crystallize in my mind's eyes. But I don't let that bother me. If I can brace long enough to survive the next 2 seconds, and then the result will be well worth it. It took him only a second to find me. While I admire his speed, it'll be 1 second too late.
あれ？でもそれって式は途中で落っこちない？私そのあたり加減できないよ。
そりゃ落ちるに決まってるだろ。だからお前が俺に道を作ってくれ。
The floating rocks fall into place like puzzle pieces. A hastily constructed slide connected by ivy. We sit on the same coordinates with only the air between us. Here we go. I calculate my chances of survival. Before I get started, I confirm my target. My route is plotted. A one-way path, 30 meters in 2 seconds.
ショータイムだ。吸血鬼。
Oh. My descent begins. I plunge down the slide into the maw of death. I've given up on reacting. I can only make my decisions one at a time, 1 second at a time. During the 2 seconds leading up to my touchdown, I focus on 2 factors. Every decision I make could end up in my death. When faced with such a scenario, I must concentrate on where my chances of dying are particularly high. I visualize every point that could lead to certain death. Only 2 such exist. Elsewhere, my chances of survival lie around 10%. I don't need to worry about those, 10% is more than enough. The problem lies with the ones where I have a 0% chance. A scenario where I will die no matter how deftly I perform, no matter how careful I am. Which is why I must do whatever I can to raise those odds from 0 to 1%. I need to sharpen my senses if I'm to overcome these 2 obstacles of death. I don't have the luxury to allocate them anywhere else. As I drop down, I no longer have the capacity to plan ahead for anything else either. What if I'm wrong and there are more than 2 points of certain death? I can't even fathom it. If there are, then it's already over for me. I don't have the strength to avoid 3 of them. That would just mean his power exceeds my wildest expectations. Icicles appear in the air behind them and shoot forth at me, as if to smother their prey. They close in like the jaws of the beast. It's terrifying, but I'm beyond caring now. That fear amounts to nothing more than a base animal instinct. I've seen this coming from a mile away. It's a thing I fear would kill me. 10 meters. I've passed through the first obstacle. Every last one of my nerves is on fire. My muscles are tuned to perfection. I rapidly twist and turn my torso. Even though it should have been impossible for me to change the trajectory of my descent, I managed to somehow do it after calculating the angle of his weapon. The metallic object narrowly skimmed the air beside me. My 0% gamble pays off and I manage to avert certain death. Only 1 second before I land, it's my victory. He's out of moves. But obstacles are determined in the span of a second each. Now I have to kill him before my insides are pulverized by the impact of the fall. I don't care what will happen to me afterwards. In this moment, all my focus is on piercing his line. But if he were to have one more move up his sleeve, something outside of my predictions. No, there's no time to think, no time to avoid it. Even if I could change my trajectory at this juncture, I wouldn't waste my time on it. The time for thinking is over. If I'm going to die, that was decided the second I started on my descent. This is fine. If my brain is to be skewered by ice here, I doubt I'd even register it. The second obstacle, the negative 100-degree temperature that defies the law of nature and stops the human body in its tracks. My impulse to brace for a landing and even my concerns for the sanctity of life are left behind in the skies above. Kinetic energy courses from my thighs, through my hips, to my hips, up to my back, and from there into my right hand as I swing the knife down. Now that the motion has been set into action, there's no way of stopping it. I'm a killing machine, fueled by inertia. All my brain needs to do is locate the lines. It's over. I guess. At the center of it all, I see a light. A vortex of swirling atoms, the certainty of life's eventual ends. A place of pure death that pulls everything inside like a black hole. My brain may have cast out all rational thought, but it still comprehends what it's seeing through sheer instinct. If the lines are what brings death to life, then this core brings death to the origin of its existence. The end of the universe, where any creature, be they monster or immortal, can be killed with a simple stab. I can't say I care much for this sudden revelation. My entire body trembles with emotion that run much deeper. Having used his lance already, Vlov unsheathes his machete. Realizing my aim, the vampire readies for another counterattack. It's his final move in this game against an underhanded opponent like myself. This man is a real deal, a shining example of his kind. I don't know or care where the bar is set for the vampires, but he's a killer, true and true. I can't help but despise him. When he was sane before he was a vampire, I'm sure he was a knight worthy of envy. Even if not a shadow of that man remains. Bada boom. It's over, but he will never get the chance to bring his blade against me. I turn, dodge, and twist. Shiki got him, but yeah. Did Shiki get damaged? Nah, I don't think so. My eyes trace his score. Vlov. In an instant, the surrounding temperature returns to normal. I wonder what's gonna happen to his body though. Like if a vampire dies, is it just gonna like disintegrate or what? The cold wave disappears alongside its master's life force, but the man still remains upright at the center of it all. He's burning though, yeah. Dazed, the vampire speaks to himself.
この傷は知らない。この喪失は思い出せない。この言語化できない大気の肌触りはいつか失った何者かだ。
I don't know what he's saying. I don't even know the language he speaks. But his tone is gentle, like that of a poet extolling spring.
痛みも寒波も感じない。恐ろしいが懐かしい。これではまるで僕は死人になったようだ。
I'm so done. My body drops backwards onto the ground. But my heart and lungs cry for joy as finally, at long last, I began breathing normally once again. I can't move either arm. I can't even tell whether I'm still holding my knife. All I can be sure of is this throbbing in my body and my rapidly fading consciousness. It's a blessing in disguise. My pain is overtaken by numbness. It feels like the bones in my left leg, which landed on while falling, were carved with a saw. Normally the pain would have mean seeing stars, but right now I can't feel a thing.
でもくそ
The miserable words pass my lips, even though I will them not to. Okay. I got confused with how it was said. I don't get any joy from having survived. I don't even feel pride in having done some great feat. It wasn't a miracle, it was nothing. After all was said and done, I just charged at him with every emotion I possessed. A solitary crescent moon sits high in the night sky. How odd. It feels familiar, somehow like I saw something just like it in the dream once.
大丈夫、シキ。
Arcuade strolls over as if nothing had happened. Yeah, and the way she's just smiling, man. Like, come on.
まあ生きてはいる。
I feel more dead than alive, though even talking hurts like hell. But you're not going to hear me make a petty complaint while I'm still alive.
もうそんな謙遜しちゃって。 新参とはいえ、シキはその一人を殺したのよ。もっと胸を張ってもいいのに。
Arcuade seems to be happy on my behalf. Even I know that killing Vlov was a significant accomplishment, and yet, it's not like I actually did anything. His ice has already decimated the city. The body count will likely eclipse the massacre at the hotel by hundreds, if not thousands. This is all my fault. I let it happen again.
死んでないよ。ブローブの呪いなら全部私が防いでおいたんだし。
Wait, it's not like anyone died. Wait, what? No one died.
どういうことだそれって言った。
Wait, what is she saying? I don't understand. I try to fling my body upright, but my left leg screams from the motion. I find myself still on the ground, wincing in pain.
ほらほら、ちゃんと横になってないと。
それより今の説明してくれ。死んでないって本当に？
ええ、ブローブの原理が暴走した時、できる範囲を対流膜でコーティングしておいたの。シキがブローブを殺すのがあとちょっと遅かったらフォローできなかっただろうけど。
Arcuade casually admits having done something insanely overpowered. My mind flashes back to the fight. Arcuade had paused abruptly just before she was hit by his lance. Does it mean she didn't do that to protect herself but to protect the entire city? Come to think of it, it's strange that I survived the initial blast of the ice at all. Yet I was able to keep breathing even in those Arctic conditions. Arcuade must ensure the rest of the town was able to do the same. Now what I mean is, like in the beginning? When Vlov just started? Like no one died there? Is that it? And because of it, like yeah, when the fire, right, started in downtown. Like people were screaming, that didn't happen? I don't understand. That happened. This entire time, I was only thinking about myself. Meanwhile, she was selflessly protecting the city. Even when she knew it would leave her at a disadvantage.
なんでそんなことを。お前、人間なんかどうでもいいって言ってたじゃないか。
A strange wave of anger washes over me as I shout at the space case standing next to me. Space case. Arcuade raises her brow curiously.
だってシキがそうしてほしいって言ったんだもん。
I said something that idiotic? Seriously, when, where, don't tell me. She did it because...
なんか、お前は別。だって血を吸ったことないんだろ。ならいい。吸血鬼だろうとなんだろうと、俺たちに手を出さないでいてくれるなら、それでいいんだ。
I can't believe it. As long as you don't lay a hand on humans. She followed that? Even though she might have lost her life in the process if anything had gone wrong. I laugh at the bizarre reality of it all. If anything, I'm more dumbfounded than ever. But more than that, I am incredibly grateful. I close my eyes. If what she says is true, then I suppose it's fine for me to rest now. My chest, which had been filled with nothing but regret, is now overcome with relief. My consciousness starts to fade away. I forget all about the pain in my leg as I slip into a deep, dreamless slumber. At least I tried to. Wait, why now? But Arcuade hits me over the head with a loud thwack, forcefully pulling my awareness back to the land of the living. No, I thought she opened like a bottle of something, yes.
何のつもりだ。
ダメ。そんな傷で眠っちゃったら起きてから余計苦しいでしょ。 眠るのは傷を塞いでから。その方が効率的よ。
She's right about that. But who was the one who told her that in the first place?
アルクエイド、本気で忠告していいか？
何？
あのな、あんまり無茶言うな、このバカ女。
This is the end. With that, I've burned through my very last reserves of strength. My consciousness is already in a distant place. I can hear Arcoid making some big fuss at the back of my mind, but I no longer have the energy to open my eyes.
ちょっとシキ、本当に眠っちゃうの？
Yeah, because I'm tired. Tired enough to drop dead on this spot. I'll wake up again tomorrow, I promise.
本当に本当？それきっと痛いよ。治さなくていいの？起きたら間違いなく失神するよ。
You're so loud. I'm going to sleep so you can do whatever you want.
そういうことなら早く言ってくれればよかったのに。
She sounds bright and cheery. Her tender fingertips feel cool against my already ice-cold skin. It's nice, soothing. The light replaces the fatigue inside me.
戦利品？っていうか、その死骸？まあいっか。ちょうどどこに捨てようか困ってたものがあったんだ。
What was that squelching noise?
何今の感触？なんか塗ったのか今？うわ、いた痛覚戻ってきてる。めっちゃ痛い。いや、かゆい。つか怖い。お前一体。
Just as I'm about to lay into her, I'm suddenly hit with a tremendous sense of emptiness. Perhaps my shouting burned through my last supply of fuel. This time, I know I'll fall into an uncontestable slumber.
大丈夫。悪いものじゃないわ。そげた肉の分だけならこれで塞がるわ。でも、骨ばっかりはちょっと無理かな。後でちゃんと人間の医者にかかりなさい。
Her cold fingertips apart from my skin.
眠っちゃった？シキ。
Yeah, I am. It's been a while since I've slept so soundly without a whiff of fear.
しょうがないな。シキの家って坂の上の屋敷でしょ？なんとか送り届けてあげる。
In my sleep, I only see the white
お
moon.
疲れ様シキ。それとありがとう。今夜はあなたのおかげで助かっちゃった。
Her words of gratitude float about weightlessly. I can't hear her voice anymore. Finally, without anything else to intervene, I fall into the deepest of sleeps. The fence. A few hours after the blaze outside the station, while the fire raged, firefighters on the scene reported it would take 2 full days to put it out. However, around midnight, the fire died down and was fully extinguished soon after. I mean, I guess when Vlov was still there, of course, the fire was insane, alright? But then he died and then it was gone. An officer dispatched to the location said it was as if a living creature had decided to up and leave. I mean, technically, yes. Like the fire was there and then it left.
国道305までの交通規制は明朝5時までに解除。
Dude, who the hell is this? We don't have a name. Okay, let me up this volume for said person. So is this a person from the church, I mean?
高速道路は先ほど規制を解除したとのことです。 こちらも現場に残っていた使徒の痕跡処理を完了しました。警視庁に向かわれますか、マリオ様。
Father Mario.
行きたかねえが仕方ねえ。この規模の騒ぎはうちでもそうはねえからな。
Father Mario sounds like. No, what I mean is, sounds like a very young person. Yeah.
ジジイの名前だけじゃ収まりはつかねえだろう。俺も出向いて誠意ってもんを見せないとな。
では私も同行いたします。現場の指揮は例の代行者に委任しますか。
ああ、なぜか潜入捜査してたあいつらか。ツーマンセルなんだよな。下っ端の方は俺のホテルに呼びつけて待機させとけ。使い道があれば使う。あっちの方はできるだけ早く本国に帰らせろ。セオナトールをつっつけばすぐに動く。
かしこまりました。ノイ司祭にラウレンティス様の名義で抗議文をお送りします。
ああ、ここでの仕事は大体終わった。現場の後処理は誰にやらせてもいいんだが。おい、安藤。
お呼びですか、坊ちゃん。
Okay, this guy seems like he's gonna die.
いやー、
In the
着
game.
任早々ついてないっすね。こんなんガス爆発でごまかすとか無理ですわ。どっかのテロ組織に声明でも出してもらえます？
Let me see. Mario. Oh, this is Mario. Okay. Wait, what? Okay, this is Arak. This is Psyche. This is Mario. Okay, this is Ando. We already see the face of Mario. I mean, we got spoiled in the config.
そっちはいらねえ。対外的な処理はここの持ち主に押し付ける。叩けば埃が出そうだからな。俺たちの仕事はここにあるとまずいものの回収だ。使徒の痕跡はあらかた拭ったが、被害者の処理にまだ不満がある。お前やっとけ。
了解。あ、って待って坊ちゃんがいつも連れてる大部隊まだ入国してませんよね。
Honestly, it looks like if you watch Hitman Reborn, it looks like Chuna, the main character there. If he wasn't goofy, I guess the face wasn't goofy.
もしかして俺だけで遺体を全部チェックして噛まれたかもしれないなりかけを見つけ出せと？
見つけ出すだけじゃねえぞ。生きているなら教会に送れ。死んでいるならもう一度殺してやれ。
そういうドブさらいが嫌になったから坊ちゃんに雇ってもらったんですけどね、俺。
急げ。遺体の安置所には人払いをさせておく。貴様なら夜明けまでに済むはずだ。
動かない標的に引き金を引くだけのお仕事ですし、精神的な負担を無視すればの話ですけどね。
車を回せカリウス。お役所回りを始めるぞ。
はい、すぐに。その他手配は必要ですか。この規模の汚染であれば応援の要請もすぐに。
その必要はねえ。つうか絶対知らせるな。この件はここだけで片付ける。しばらくは情報収集だ。これでも正義の味方だからな。いたずらに犠牲は増やせない。誰が敵で誰が邪魔者か、きっちり当たりをつけなくちゃな。
Interesting, these people. Are we gonna see more of them though? We're gonna see. We're gonna find out. But I guess we finished that day. That was such a long day though. Day 5. But it was finished. And it was the end of love. It's finally done. I told you, man, he was not the really like super bad guy, I suppose. Like not the end game villain or whatever, right? He was technically, I guess, we'll say that just he is a what do you call this, antagonist, but he was not the main antagonist, right? We're gonna have, I guess, more. Well, we'll find out, but that was pretty good. Shiki survived. He's sure he had some injuries, but that was yeah, that was pretty good. So I am excited to see what happens next, though. Can we go back to the mansion now? I want to see the reactions from the people there. Shiki has not been home for like what, for 2 days with no contact or anything like that. We're gonna find out what happens in the next one. So I'll see you then, guys. Bye bye.